welcome back to another video. This is gonna be the final episode of the Kulia 2019, this is actually our presentation that we've used for the speech itself. Now, this is being recorded after the fact, so I have full clearance to use it because we've already presented in front of the panel members. So this is the title screen. You can see racism in America. We did not put black and white supremacy, but that would have been a good idea. We didn't do that. So yeah. Moving on to the next slide. Crap. Hold on, wait. There you go. Is there a pause button on here? Oops. Did not mean to do that. I guess we'll show the mouse pointer. Alright. So, sorry about that. Come on, just go away. So, this is the agenda. This is what I would be saying. I'd be like, this is our introduction, the montage, history, effects, and past solutions of racism, conclusion, and then the pictures of spreading awareness, which I actually have. This will be the introduction. This one.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created.
Another deplorable statement said by the President of the United States. Why are we having all these people from shithole countries come here?
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Every single case, it's some little black asshole behaving like a savage.
I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children be able to sing with new meaning, my country tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside. Let freedom from every state and every city. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Alright, that was the montage. You guys might have seen it before on a separate video, but that's just with the rest of the presentation. Moving on to the history. Now, I did not talk about this part. This was one of my teammates' parts. So I'll just be going over what is racism. Racism is a non-factual, opinion-based discrimination or conflict directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior, meaning better. He talked about the beginning, which is like the white man's slavery was the cheapest form of labor. Slavery had little rest. Slaves had little rest and worked in harsh conditions, as you can see in the pictures. Slave life. Most slave jobs required a high level of skill and to perform. Slavery was thought to be most effective form of unpaid and cheap labor, because all the owner had to do was keep them alive. They didn't have to feed them well. They didn't have to care for them. They just had to treat them well enough to work. Before the Civil War, America decided itself a free nation that allowed slavery. Fugitive slaves have angered many Northerners. Post-slave war racism changed from people owning others to segregation. 40 acres and a mule was said throughout the South. The KKK, which stands for the Ku Klux Klan, as in the second bullet. After the Civil War came the time of Reconstruction. The Ku Klux Klan, KKK, ended the Reconstruction era. Jim Crow laws. The laws were named after the inferior blackface character. Separate but equal was supported by the U.S. Supreme Court somehow. Education. Funding for colored schools was controlled by white men. Colored schools were funded less than white supremacy fees. Racism today. Light skins, you have a type of immunity, whatever. Effects from race. This is what I did. I talked about discrimination, which is the unjust or prejudicial treatment, mostly on the grounds of race, age, or sex. That's kind of basic. You can read the bullet points. I'm not going to read them. I already read them. Next is going to be segregation, What is segregation? Segregation is the separation of two or more things, such as race, colored skins, which is race, ethnicities, origin, all that stuff. Racism, and depression. So racism and depression are linked. Because think about it. If you're being racistly profiled, which I actually know someone that was, it can cause a lot of trauma down the road. It's not just gonna come and go. It's gonna stick with you. It doesn't go away. So they didn't necessarily say how they felt, but I can tell it wasn't something that they were proud of. And to be honest, I have not experienced racial discrimination or depression, or not depression, or too much of that, but I do know what depression feels like, and it sucks. I have been treated the same, horribly, horribly bad. I'm not gonna go into too much detail because I'm not comfortable with releasing it yet, but it may come in the future. Oops. I have been treated horribly bad, and it sucks. It's just something that you live with. You have the feelings always come back. They don't ever go away. So, racism and depression do have a link, a very strong one. Several studies have shown a link between racial discrimination and depression. Can have a negative impact on a person's psychological health, whatever that word says. That word. It can also affect the way your personality, the way you speak, who you hang out with. It can cause a lot of it can do a lot to you. You can lose a lot of friends. You can get yourself arrested. You can cause a whole mess of things to you. That all it took was for someone to harass you so much by racial profiling and by just discrimination itself to do that to you. Like shown in this picture. This person is sitting alone because the way they feel. And that's exactly what people's minds feel like. They just feel alone. And it hurts. It hurts a lot. Pip talk. Racism and job opportunities. You can see help wanted, white only. That's discrimination. It's not segregation because they're not separating, but it's discrimination because they're discriminating because they only want white. They don't want all race, which is still going on today throughout the U.S. Potentially, that's illegal, invalidating the core promise of our Constitution for everyone under the law is free and has freedom and the right, and that's going to be treated equally. That's horrible. So our Constitution states that under the law and in the U.S., everyone is considered equal, and everyone has the equal amount of everything. They won't be treated differently from police. They won't be treated differently from getting a job. They won't have more work at an office. They'll have everything equal. They won't be discriminated. But yet, it still happens. It'll never be fully gotten rid of. It'll happen a lot still. We want white tenants in our white community. That is discrimination. Hardcore right there. So you should have read the bullet. Hopefully. Lack of health and social communication. So now this kind of represents the sphere of discrimination influences whether to seek medical care. Unnecessarily calling the police. I think that was supposed to be a different word. I don't know what that word is. Hold on. Oops. No. Go back. Spoiler. Whatever. Drive or attend social events. So now this slide means discrimination can tear apart your social health, your medical health. Even if your house is getting robbed or you're getting shot at, you won't want to call the police because you're afraid that you're going to be the one pinned for it. But it wasn't your fault to begin with. It was whoever's fault it was. That's what this slide is on. Racial profiling, which is the profile is not physical but verbal. So it's like a voice profile, like I was saying earlier. I know someone that has been racially profiled, which is very, very sad to hear. Because I know it sucks. I know what the effects can be. I have researched this stuff. So hearing that from an actual real person that I'm friends with really, really sucks to hear. And I feel bad, but it's all in the past now. And I know that they get them feelings back because it always comes back. No matter how long ago it is, it'll come back to you eventually. Feelings never go away. They'll always be there somewhere. And either they'll go away for a limited time and they'll come back, or they just stick in the back of your head. It always happens. It's a true fact. They never go away. They may blow away in the wind for a few days, but that wind can turn directions and come right back. The profile, I already read that. Okay. Now we're moving on to past solutions on racism. Now, this is done by my other partner. First guy is Abraham Lincoln. This goes to free slaves and House divided speech. I don't know what that is. Nathaniel Turner, or Nat Turner. Either one. The revolt in August 1831, the after effect of his revolt. So his revolt was pretty much to lead so many people during the Civil War of something. I don't really know. Can't remember exactly. Sorry about that. Abolishism in the Underground Railroad and the Fugitive Slave Act. That's what that means. So the Underground Railroad, if you guys don't know, was a slave route from the south to the north that slaves were safer to travel on and won't get caught by their owners. Because if you don't know, if a slave escapes their owner and escapes to the north, they're not free at all. The owner can come all the way up to the north, take them back, drag them all the way back to the south. That's just the way it worked for slavery back then. That's exactly what it worked. I'm actually researching this even more during social studies as well. And think about it, Slave Act is in 1793. That's a long time ago. That's over 200 years already. Over 300 years. No, because that would be 1893 and then 1993. Yeah, it's a bit away from 300 years, but it's gonna make it. Rosa Parks, she was the one who actually disobeyed bus driver Jane Blake's demand to give up her seat to a white man in the colored section of the bus. So she was arrested, and that influctuated the bus boycott, which had Dr. Martin Luther King in it, and that's what arose him to give his I Have a Dream speech, which was the beginning in the introduction. The YWCA is the something women's something association. I can't exactly remember. This was to stop illegal immigrants and to it's a way to help support like racism, I guess, something like that. The NAACP is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. So what this one did is they removed racial educational systems and they try to make it equal, and they actually done a lot. 1909. Now we're on to our thank you and our conclusion. Now, this one we didn't use this actual video. We didn't use this video for our thing, but this is just the one I have.
I have the pleasure to present to you Martin Luther King, Jr.
I was the one that finished editing this one.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty.
Alright, that was our conclusion. Now, everything else in the presentation itself is works cited, boring, questions. That's it. That's all we got. But now we're going to end this section, and I will see you guys in the next clip. Alright, I am back in the next clip, and moving on from our presentation, this is one of the posters that I have made. You know, I'll zoom in. Oops. I will zoom into the top. It's gonna be read backwards, but you can see, are you getting racistly bullied? And then on the bottom it says, speak up, don't let racism control your life. Because it's true, it can. And then there's a quote. The quote says, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. Martin Luther King, Jr. And then on this side is just a resource from the Department of Education to download their Speak Now app. There's Kulia 2019, more names. That's the poster. Oops. And aside from the poster, this is scavenged from our poster board that we made. This is another one of the posters. You can see only the quote's different. It says, focus on your goals. Don't look in any direction but ahead. And that will conclude this Kulia video. I would like to thank you guys for watching. You know what to do. Subscribe, like, and share. Mostly share. Share this and show how racism is terrible. Let's help stop it once and for all.